All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And they actually did it. They turned Superman into a comedy. It is basically Guardians of the Galaxy Superman. And we're going to talk about some stuff here today, which is very interesting. And I'm going to show the hypocrisy of people who just will eat up anything that Gunn wants to do or is doing. We have a lot of stuff to cover, so we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, the first bit of news I have here, and I kind of figured this was happening, but it says apparently Matt Reeves' protection down at Warner Brothers is Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy. So Matt is fighting for them to stay. And this person said, it is worse than I thought. This is getting messy behind the scenes. And I think this is pretty obvious for anybody who is paying attention to what is going on down at Warner Brothers Discovery. They are trying to push Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy out. And there were some reports, and I've meant to mention this in previous videos and just never got around to showing it. But apparently, Jeff Snyder said that down there at Warner Brothers, that James Gunn has absolutely nothing to do with the Batman, and he wants more control over it. And this is why the Batman is being pushed back. In fact, Gunn is apparently has not even seen the script and is not expected to see the script and to side, kind of go on the side of this and get around it. They're trying to push Matt Reeves and Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy out because Gunn wants ultimate control over everything. And they're the ones that are kind of in charge of the Batman at this stage. And if they go, then there's no more protection for Matt Reeves. And so there's a lot of politics going on down there. And for everybody to say that Batman is doing just fine, it certainly is not. We've talked about this plenty of times, and we're going to see something that happened that even goes to show that this Batman universe may go away entirely. But we'll talk about that when I get to that screen grab. It's also being reported that James Gunn's next directorial project in the DCU will be connected to 2025's Superman movie. And so what are they going to do? I am fully expecting him to come out and announce that he is writing and directing the world's finest with both Batman and Superman. He wants to be the one to cast the new Batman. And he already stated that the Batman is very well likely to show up before Batman, the Brave and the Bold. And what better way to do that than with a Superman-Batman team-up film? And we're going to get all the Gunn fans saying this is amazing. But yet they bashed Zack Snyder for doing Batman versus Superman, which, Zack Snyder didn't want to do in the first place, but the studio forced him to do it that summer. And so they're going to say it's okay for Gunn to do it, but not for Zack Snyder. Just the hypocrisy is just thick in the air. And this is my worst nightmare come true. I really do not want James Gunn doing a Batman-Superman film. There is no way he's going to get the tone of that right. There's absolutely no way he will ever get the tone of that right. More on Jason Ritter in Lanterns. It says Ritter will play Billy McCon, a good-looking charmer who does his father's bidding. Capitalizing on his family's reputation, he clings to his small-town ego and has everything to lose. So, yes, I'm pretty sure he's going to be the white racist inside of Lanterns. We will see when this show airs, if it ever does air. All right, now I wanted to pull this photo up again and talk about this photo, and I'm going to compare it to another photo. This is almost a head-on shot of Superman from Superman. But first of all, this is not a real photo. Okay, this is art. It is a Photoshop, probably taken off of a partially real image. But here's the problem. They have no quality control down at Warner Brothers. I pointed out how his face is bulging out on the right side of the photo here. And it is. It is not in line, and you are not way off to the left to have something like that show up. You're pretty much centered, okay? And I'm going to show you another example of this. Here in this photo, we have a very similar, and you could see that, and I didn't mean just to grab Henry Cavill. People are going to complain about that. Somebody actually posted every Superman with this same look, and all of them were pretty in line with their neck. Everything was symmetrical, but this certainly is not. This is a bad Photoshop job. Now, I had a lot of people come out on Twitter and try to tell me that I am body shaming, and then they personally attacked me and tried to bash me for my looks. There are some pretty nasty comments out there. And these are from people that I have blocked. They can still steal your stuff now, and they like to copy it and then paste it and make all kinds of nasty comments thinking they are protected. And if you see these people making disgusting comments, please just report it and be done with it. These people should not have a platform. I don't personally go after people because I think it's disgusting, and it's not our place to go judge other people. And what kind of hypocrisy is that to sit there and say, they're body shaming and then do the same thing to the person they're directing to? I have no issues with the way I look. I don't care what people say. I just don't care. And I wasn't attacking David Corenswet at all. They have no quality control out there at Warner Brothers. This would have been an easy fix. But what they do is there's no quality control down there, and everything they do is ridiculous. I feel sorry for David Corenswet. I really do, because this does not do him justice. It does not do the character justice. There's just no quality control down there at Warner Brothers. It's that simple. And, I was in no way body shaming David Corenswet, because there is no way his face looks like that. None whatsoever. Now, there was this awesome, like 4.5-minute video put out. It was a tribute to Zack Snyder's Justice League and, basically his trilogy. And Zack Snyder actually shared it. He shared it on Twitter, and he also shared it on Vero. And it came from Floyd Lawton, Deadshot, and this actually came from someone else, and I think someone did eventually find out who did this. But if you have not seen this tribute video, go check it out. It is absolutely amazing. And on that note, today, March 18th, is the day where everyone is out there hashtagging sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix, sell Zack's, ZSJL to Netflix. You could do restore the Snyderverse if you want. I do all of them just so I cover all the bases. Tag Netflix. Today is the day, guys. This is where they want to make some noise. We don't have to accept slop. We don't have to just accept the garbage that the studio's throwing at us. We can demand more. Also, if you're into this, I will probably be looking for these at the store. I love collecting DC stuff, and right now Old Spice does have some Superman merchandise out there, which is pretty dang cool. Looks like there's some body spray there and then also some deodorant. So it's pretty cool stuff. I'll be looking for these next time I'm in the store. Now, this had a lot of people up in arms. It says Warner Brothers has removed the entirety of Looney Tunes from Max. See what movies and TV shows have just been added to Max. Okay. Now, this is crazy. Right now, and I didn't even know this, but there is actually a Looney Tunes movie in movie theaters. So you know what people are going to do when they go to the theater and see this? They're going to get nostalgic and want to go watch those old cartoons. And who should have all that stuff? Why not Warner Brothers' own company, own streaming service Max, only to go on there and find out it's not available? Now, they claim they pulled it because of engagement, that it wasn't getting as many views as they wanted. But you have a movie in theaters right now. Now, they could license this out to another streaming service, but it's ridiculous that it's their own brand and they can't even have it on their own streaming network. This would be like Disney getting rid of all their old Disney cartoons. That's ridiculous. It was also revealed for that State Farm commercial that Captain America Civil War stuntman Nicholas Hayner portrayed the Dark Knight. And it says the bat suit was made by Ironhead Studio, the same company that crafted Ben Affleck's suit in Batman vs. Superman. And they definitely can make some pretty cool looking suits. That's for dang sure. Too bad they didn't get those people to work on Superman. So here we go. Colin Farrell is reportedly in talks with DC Studio to star in the Sergeant Rock movie helmed by Luca Guadagnino. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. I don't even know how you say it. But Luca is going to be directing this film. This is fast-tracked to start filming here pretty soon. and it looks like Colin Farrell may be playing Sergeant Rock. And if that's the case, what's going on with the Batman 2? That is also scheduled to film sometime this year. That's going to be a scheduling conflict, and it's really weird. Again, this might be a block by James Gunn to prevent him from being able to work on the Batman 2 or to push it back even further. If not all, just cancel it altogether. All right, so here's the big news that I wanted to talk about today. Now, first I want to talk about the hypocrisy of this whole thing, because this comes from Zack Snyder, and the Gunn fans were posting this all over today, yet they will bash Snyder when he says something against Superman and make death threats against him. Like, the double standard is just mind-blowing, okay? But it says, Zack Snyder says that he spoke to someone who watched a Superman screening. And this person said that David Corenswet was great as Superman. And I probably believe that's true. I am betting Corenswet is going to put his all into this character. It's too bad he didn't have a better suit and didn't have a better director. It's too bad that they're turning this into a comedy. And this is where we get with the next part of this. It says, there were jokey moments, but they were well balanced with drama and was genuinely funny. And the movie knew when to get serious. Okay, here's the thing about this. If you read what that said, it is primarily billing this as a comedy. Now, before I show you the next thing I want to show you, it says the movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes long. So let's look at this next thing. The movie is generally funny, but knows when to get serious. This is what I want to focus on. This is also in the statement here. If you notice, the primary thing that they are focusing on here is that it has jokey moments, and the movie was genuinely funny, but knew when to get serious. This is mainly a comedy. They're admitting that this is a comedy, and maybe some people love that, but it is just not connecting with general audiences today. General audiences are tired of comedy superhero films. They're getting tired of superhero films in general. So this weekend, I finally got out of the house and ran some errands with my wife. It's the first time I've actually been out on a Saturday since I was in my accident 3 months ago. And I started talking to a bunch of different people. And here's the general consensus that I got from everybody. Number one, people are just tired of superhero films. I didn't believe that was true, but this is what I'm hearing from the general audience, just regular people. Like when I got my hair cut, I talked to the guy there. When we went to the store, I was talking to somebody at the store. And I just would talk to these random people. And we would come up with a conversation, and we'd start talking about movies. I'm good at starting those conversations. And I would get to this, and I'd ask them what were their thoughts on Superman. And number one, everyone that I spoke to over the weekend, and I've talked about this before, agreed that, and I didn't bring this up, they did, that people are just tired of superhero films, that it has to be something special. The second thing was these individuals, not one person I talked to even knew that Henry Cavill was being replaced by somebody else and that a Superman movie was even coming out. So these people can talk all they want about the trailer getting X amount of views on YouTube. You see people talk about this all the time. And I keep telling people, number one, it was put up as an ad that would automatically play whether people watched it or not, and that counted as a watch. And people will say, well, this is the dumbest thing that I see, that every trailer is trying to sell you the movie. Every trailer is a paid advertisement. YouTube is free. They don't pay to have their trailers put on YouTube. Those views are free. They don't cost a studio anything, okay? And the third thing I want to point out is that people would watch the trailer over and over and over again. So let's say it had 250 million views, but every person that watched that trailer 10 times. Then you really only got 25 million views. And trust me, there were probably fanatics out there that watched this 50, 60, 70, 80 times. I myself probably watched it about 7 or 8 times to get everything I could out of it, to really analyze it. And so those were not genuine views. It does not, in any way, shape, or form, can it even remotely gauge what the real engagement for the film is going to be. But I do know this. People are sick and tired. If you do a comedy for a superhero film, people are done with it. They're done with it. They want things to be more serious. It cannot be a genuinely funny film, but it can get serious when it needs to. That isn't how this can work. Some people will come out and say that's the original Superman as well. First of all, no, it wasn't. The original Superman movie definitely was not a comedy. Somebody tried to tell me today that it had jokes throughout, that it was just joke after joke after joke, and it certainly was not. Now, I also want to make the point, and this is very important, that a film can be lighthearted and not be a comedy. Superman should be more lighthearted. That's what they should be gauging this, how they should be gauging this. Not whether it's funny or it's a comedy or it's got jokey moments. They should be talking about the lightheartedness of the film, the wholesome feel of Superman. That's what they should be touting and what they should be going for. But here's the problem. James Gunn doesn't know anything other than to make a comedy with a big group of people. And that's all Superman is. So this is coming to fruition, everything that we talked about. But for everybody who believes this report and then was crapping on Snyder, shame on you. Shame on you. You can't tout Jeff Snyder one day and then turn against him on another day. It doesn't work that way. I do believe he's talked to people who have seen this. I bet people reach out to him. That tends to happen with those scoopers, where people will reach out to them and give them information. And I'm sure he's done stuff to really find out whether these people saw it or not. So I believe this report. And I don't think this is good for the film. I don't think it's good at all. All right, guys, so there you have it. What do you think about Superman being touted as a comedy primarily with some serious moments in there? Sounds just like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And if that's the same type of feel they're going to have for Superman, I don't think it's going to resonate with audiences because that's not what people are looking for when they go to the movies anymore. They want something a little more fulfilling than that. And it's just crazy that this is what they're doing with the character, but whatever. What do you think about the terrible, marketing for the film? Like, what do you guys think about that Photoshop photo that I showed you? What do you think about the quality control and all the crap that's going on with Warner Brothers? It's like nobody is steering the ship at this stage. It's a complete joke. We're just 3.5 months away from this movie being released. We don't even have a full trailer yet. You haven't heard any of the other characters talk other than Superman saying, Crypto, take me home. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all we've heard and that's all we've seen. It's kind of some scary stuff. Josh out there from the Nerd something, I forget who he is. I follow him on social media. I don't watch all his stuff all the time. But he had a clip talking about Superman, the Superman film, and kind of, he was basically backing up everything that I've been talking about for the last 6 to 8 months about Superman and what our fears were, and it looks like it is coming to fruition, and more people starting to see that. So what do you guys think about all of this? I don't think it bodes well for DC as a brand. I don't think it bodes well for moviegoers. I really don't think this movie is going to resonate with audiences, especially with the competition it has in July. I think we're headed for disaster. All right, guys, so there's my update for the day. I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.